and welcome to God's Hookups television show. This is Dr. Barbara Young, your host, and this is a show that features up close and personal interviews with guests from all walks of life who share their stories about unexplainable blessings, successful events, and extraordinary miracles and encounters that can only be of God's hookup. You will receive hope, enlightenment, encouragement that will feed your spirit and your soul. Now, to my guest today. And let me introduce my guest to my viewers today, Dr. Ron Eccles. Dr. Eccles, welcome to God's Hookup Show. I'm so happy to have you on the show today.
Dr. Barbara, I'm absolutely over the moon. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, I just have to tell my viewers about you. You are President CEO of ROAR and Going Vertical Coaching. That's ROAR and Going Vertical Coaching. He's a speaker and he believes in combining high energy, passion, relevant information in an all-around humorous backdrop. And I can tell you from talking with him in the green room, yes, this is a man you want to hear. He works with key influencers and business leaders and helping to empower and equip them so that they can be more successful. More recently, he's working with Christian business leaders to help empower them. He also has something he's going to share today with you viewers, a 777 challenge. He's going to talk about that. I don't want to get him away without sharing that. He also has a new book that's coming out called The Unstoppable Christian Business. The Unstoppable Christian Business. But without any further ado, I'm going to let him do the talking. So you're on, Dr. Eccles. Thank you so much for, again, being on the show. And share with us a little bit of your God's hookup experiences, because you've had a lot. And I forgot to tell the viewers, he was a chiropractor and now turned speaker. So you've had quite a bit of experiences.
Laura, I always tell people, as an entrepreneur, I am virtually unemployable. I've been my own boss for so many years, and I'm so grateful to have that mindset and the passion to be able to actually work with business owners and to help them achieve everything in life they long for. Just this morning, I had a conversation with a very good friend of mine. He's a medical doctor, and he's walking through some really difficult times right now. And over the last number of days, we've been praying together every morning. I contact him, I send him encouraging messages. And he said, Ron, I just feel like I'm walking in a desert right now and I can't hear from God. And here's a man who's extremely well educated. As a matter of fact, he's not just a medical doctor. He's actually breaking into the comedy world, and he's actually really funny. But he was walking through something really difficult. And he said, Ron, I just need something. I said, just hang on. God is always faithful. He always comes up with the answer. He'll always deliver you. We just need to be patient sometimes. He texted me literally an hour ago, and he gave me some incredible news on how God had delivered something in the time that he needed it, and was really powerful. Now, the reason I talk about this story is because my life is a litany of God's hookups. Now, I don't know where you stand spiritually. I am going to testify as to what my experience is in my faith. And I hope these messages will encourage you to be able to go and stand and be extremely powerful and strong during this time when many people are operating in fear and anxiety, because you have a mission, you have a purpose. And I hope that I can drop some seeds into your life today that would encourage you in some greater way. And Dr. Barb asked me, he said, Ron, what could you share? What would be some of the God hookups? Now, that's a really tough question, simply because there's so many of them, right? Where do I start? So let me go back to the most important one. Now, I've been a business consultant for about a decade, and I've been working with people, all different backgrounds, not just selected in the Christian space. In the last couple of years, I feel a calling to really help Christian business owners more, but I am not excluded completely to the Christian world. But I am creating a footprint in there because it's so needed. I've written a book. I'm in the editing process right now. I have an editing team. It's called The Unstoppable Christian Business. This is not the book. It's just the cover for the book. I'm a transparent guy. If you knew me real well, you know I'm sitting here in a shirt and a pair of gym shorts, because it is time to go into the virtual world. And I want to be comfortable. So I look professional from here up, and I'm very comfortable from the waist down. See, transparency is key. People are tired of phony. They're tired of fake. They're looking for people that are real. And I'm going to ask permission up front from Dr. Barbara. Is it okay if I am brutally honest in a loving way with the people who are watching me right now?
Be brutally honest. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to start out first by saying I feel like I haven't done enough to keep up my body and my condition after meeting this young lady and to see her vibrant energy at her, I'll call it the best years of her life, where she is contributing and making an impact in eternity. See, I just recently coined this. This is my thing now. I'm claiming it. Steve Jobs said he wanted to make a dent in the universe, and everybody's been repeating that for years. How are you going to make a dent in the universe? And my philosophy is different. I want to make a dent in eternity. I want to help people, introduce them to an incredible God that loves them and cares about them and is inviting them to have a personal relationship with him so that they don't have to spend an eternity separated from him. All right. Now, let me get back into my subject. Back as I began my public speaking career about 10 years ago, and I've been speaking, obviously, since I was about 3 years old. Mom said I didn't shut up. And I said, Mom, don't give me a hard time anymore for that. You can't remind me of that as a bad thing, because that's what has paid the bills for so many years. And when I began a professional speaking career, obviously you have to come up with things that people remember. And one of the things that I wanted to connect with my audience over is the very simple fact that I would say this, and maybe you can relate with this. I don't know if you remember, but I can remember grade school, middle school, high school, and even the beginning part of my college career. I made the top half of the class. That's right. I made the top half of the class possible because I was in the bottom half of the class. If you would have went to high school with me, you would have said this guy will never amount to anything. Why? Because I was academically challenged. Reading comprehension was really poor for me. I would never read a book. I cheated through every single English test we had on books. I never read one of them. I'm not proud of that, but that's just the reality. And I struggled even into the end of my freshman year. And it was during that break between my freshman year and my sophomore year that I had my first amazing God hookup. Now, this was before I really began to grow. I became a Christian when I was 18 years old, right around this time. And I was placed in this job in my summer break on a roofing crew. And the boss I had literally hated me. And he would torture me emotionally from the time I got there to the time I went home. My joke was he would ride me like a rented mule. And he got me to the breaking point one day where I was really upset I was going to do physical harm to him. And one of my closest friends, who was my mentor, he was my instructor in martial arts for a long time, he looked at me because he was working with me, and he looked at me, started laughing, and he calmed me down, and he kind of talked me off the ledge metaphorically. And that day, that boss tried to get on my nerves, and I made a commitment. This guy is my impetus, my resolution to go back and change my academic course. From that point on, I committed myself to becoming a great student. But I got to tell you, it wasn't easy. I had to read twice as much and study twice as hard as everyone else to get the same grade. But here's what I learned. The moment you step outside your comfort zone, things begin to happen. Things begin to shake up. You begin to really begin to see the talents and the gifts and the abilities that God placed inside of you at birth. You begin to see them manifest. And I became academically really superior compared to what I had been earlier in my life. I became an A student. And I've never stopped. Since I graduated, or since I went to chiropractic school, I have put 3 to 4 hours of learning into my life every single day. Now, I'm not saying that you should ever do something like that, but that's what I get paid for nowadays. I get paid to learn from the very best in the world, in business, in personal development, in physical health, in spiritual growth. And I hack that, I condense that information to usable, implementable pieces for my clients. So here's a kid who went from being incredibly academically challenged to somebody who a lot of people think is smart. And I'm not smart. I'm average when it comes to IQ. I just don't stop. I just don't quit. And I guarantee there is a heart inside of you that has an ability to break out, break through, and get amazing results. Now, let me give you the second big change in my life. I was married at age 20. About 16 years or so into my marriage, my ex-wife and I had 2 children biologically, and we had adopted 3 children. Within the finalization of the last adoption, within a year of that, my ex-wife decided to leave and pursue a relationship with someone else. It was the most difficult time in my life. Dark clouds were just around me, and I couldn't really focus on what was next. I had a hard time seeing ahead. And I've got to tell you, in an amazing court, we'll call battle for custody of my children, a man, unheard of, almost unheard of, I got custody of my 5 children. And I had the honor and privilege of raising them. I now am remarried to the joy of my life. I can't imagine having a better life, but I got to tell you, there were times when I could never have predicted this. God is amazing. The day I was in court and the judge said, "You're getting custody of your children," people were just floored. No one expected it. Now, this is not about my ex-wife. This is just about how God's faithfulness can be in our lives. Sometimes we don't get the answer we want, but it's always for the right reason. It's always for our benefit. We just can't see it. I heard this recently, and I love this. When we give thanks for what we've been received, we're showing appreciation to God. But when we give thanks to God for what we haven't received yet, that's faith. I want to encourage you. I don't know where you're at right now. I don't know what's going on in your life, but I promise you, God's got a hookup for you. And there's something great that's about to happen. We just need to be faithful and do our part. That's the key. We've got to do our part. Yes. Because there's only 2 causes of problems in life, 2 causes of challenges or circumstances, right? One, it's outside of your control. It had nothing to do with you. Number 2, we caused it. It's that simple. There's plenty of things in my life where I've received consequences for things that I created. And then there are things that happened to me that were not my creation. But I serve, and we are all children of a God that is so faithful. It's absolutely incredible. So, Dr. Barb, I need your feedback here.
That was wonderful. And I really know that my viewers appreciated your sharing, your transparency, and your story of what God can do in one's life when you absolutely surrender and give him complete control. Dr. Eccles, one of the things that I know I wanted you to share in this time that we do have is, what is your 7-7-7 challenge?
Okay. When again, everyone always thinks, wow, you're so successful. I've been called a success doctor, and it's because a friend of mine 10 years ago when I began public speaking, he introduced me as a success doctor, not because I was the most successful person you ever meet, but because I don't know of anyone who has studied success more than I have. Successful people, successful businesses, and success principles. Now, as a business consultant over the last 10 years, I have learned more as a business consultant than I knew when I was in business, because you're actually now having to teach people. And I don't stop. I spend hours every day learning more. But I had to put something together for the Christian world to create an impact. So I created this book, The Unstoppable Christian Business, 7 steps to your 7-figure business with purpose, passion, and profit. Now, purpose is in front of profit, because I believe that that's much more important. When you're on purpose and you're doing what you're called to do, profit will come with it. Purpose must be first, profit must be last, but profit will come. And I believe that all of those combine together. When I wrote this book, I said, okay, what's next? How do I get the word out? How do I help people who probably are not big readers like I am? They want to get the book, and the book is, I'm giving the book away for free once it's released for a while in the continental US. They just pay shipping and handling of $7.77. They can go to www.ucbbook.com. That stands for Unstoppable Christian Book or Business Book.com, ucbbook.com. And don't rush there right now. I'm actually redoing that funnel. It's a landing page. And in probably a week, you'll be able to go there, order the book. The book will, as soon as it comes out in September, is my anticipated time, the book will be shipped to you. You'll just pay the $7.77 for that. Now, let me talk about the 7-7-7 challenge, because that came up next. I'm like, how can I get in front of people? Because some people are audible learners and visual learners like me. That's my big one, right? So I'm launching in September the 7-7-7 challenge. 7 days, I will teach my 7 steps to building your 7-figure business with purpose, passion, and profit. See, it just goes right along with the book. I want to keep it consistent and keep that brand so I can help build into people's lives. And this challenge is absolutely free. Now, there is an upsell to a VIP experience for those people who say, hey, I want to get more, I want to go deeper. They'll be able to do that. But for everyone else, it is free. If you don't want the VIP, and the VIP is limited, there's limited seating for it. And I'm excited about it. I'm super excited to serve people, because I believe Zig Ziglar said it a long time ago, right? He said, if you help enough other people get what they want in life, you'll always get everything you want. I believe that's a God principle, right?
Right. I just think that's so wonderful. I mean, I like the whole thing of purpose, passion, and profit.
Yeah.
And you're right on. I mean, you're not alone in this message that people are getting today. And I think, during this pandemic, it's an awesome time for people to focus in. And we talked about this in the green room, how it's an awesome time for people, Christian people who really love the Lord, and those who, if you don't love the Lord, now's the time to get a relationship with him, because he is the one. 7 days, 7 steps to get to your 7-figure business. Who wouldn't want something like that for free? And
I know there are people out there sitting there and go, well, 7 figures is way too big. That's $1 million, right? But if they could just break that $100,000 mark, it would be huge. Or maybe they could get to that mid 6 figures, $500,000 a year, or get up to that 7-figure business, right? No matter where you're at, it's the same principles. Is whether you're going to build a 3-story house or you're going to build a 100-story skyscraper, you must have a solid foundation. And the 7 steps are about the same foundation, and you can build a 3-story house or you can build a skyscraper. It's up to you.
Dr. Eccles, I do have one quick question. How are you translating this with Christian business owners in adapting to the new mode of operation, which is going to be digital, it's going to be online, it's going to be, Zoom conferencing or whatever? How are you infusing that in your book, your steps?
Well, one of the things that I'm always a teacher of, and that is leverage. Right now, the 7 steps are 7 super practical points, and let me just bring one of them out. It's how to create a extraordinary experience. Why do you want to do that? Because it's the cheapest way to get business. When you can wow your clients and wow the people that work as part of your team, they will send you business, and it costs you $0. It's called the $0 acquisition plan. There's nothing greater to a business owner to say, I can get clients without having to pay for them. Yes, from your existing clients, if you will serve them with all your heart. And expand on that in the book, and looking for areas of threat and areas of opportunity to create that experience. Is about crafting the experience, not just for the people that you serve, but for the team members that serve you.
Absolutely. And this whole thing also gets down to one bottom line word: serving. Serving.
I love it.
I just want to thank all of my viewers out there for tuning in today to hear Dr. Ron Eccles. And those of you who are not listening live, be sure to get this show. And if you want to get updates, you can on my live upcoming shows, because you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at drbarbaradio@gmail.com. Again, I want to say thank you so much to my guest today for being on the show. Dr. Eccles, you have been such a blessing. I'm going to be talking to you more offline, because I want to get more information about the unstoppable Christian business and be ready to promote and to get my copy of that book. So I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. It has truly been a pleasure to have you. So thank you so much. And so, listeners, I just want to share with you that to be a guest on this show, all you have to do is contact me at drb@godshookups.com. Got more news for you too, that you can follow me for any radio or television shows on my Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn at Dr. Barbara Young. And I want you, by all means, to continue to share this show with your friends. I'm looking for you. And look, don't forget that we have these shows every Friday at 11:30, 1:30. It's 11:30 Pacific Standard Time, 1:30 p.m. East Pacific Standard Time, and 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. So for those of you out there and you're viewing, we got another show coming, and we have Mr. Che Brown, who's going to be on our next show. So stay tuned. Again, Dr. Eccles, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. So as we have to say goodbye today, I'm going to say goodbye to all of you and stay tuned for the next show. All righty. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.